Wireless is the future, according to Tim Cook at last year's iPhone 7 keynote, and to back up that vision, Apple announced truly wireless versions of Apple's EarPods that cost $159, known as the AirPods. Now, after a few months of delays, the final production version of AirPods are here, and I've finally had a chance to test them out for a few months. While I found more to like than I expected, AirPods feel very much like a first draft of that wireless future. One of the first criticisms lobbed at AirPods was how they seemed too easy to lose. So we have to start with the way AirPods fit, or maybe don't fit, in your ears. I, unlike some people I've let try them, can get them to stay in my ears for the entire battery length of time. This isn't new for me, as I've always had an easy time keeping AirPods' wired predecessors, EarPods, in my ears. It was the accidental pulling or hitting of the wire that would result in the EarPods falling out. For others who had trouble with EarPods, it was a side effect of Apple electing a one-size-fits-all, somewhat open air design for EarPods, instead of designing earbuds that insert and form a seal in your ears. If you've had trouble with EarPods staying in your ears, there's a good chance you'll also struggle with AirPods. There are slight differences in the shapes, which you can see when you put them side by side. EarPods are a bit more round, and AirPods are slightly more contoured, which makes them a bit more comfortable. And Apple says that means AirPods should fit more ears than EarPods. That doesn't mean AirPods don't feel like they stay in my ears though. Every time I wear AirPods, it's a constant mental battle to not touch them, as I feel like they are going to fall out, but they never do. Turning my head fast, chewing food, bending over to tie my shoes, running, laying down, and more, I kept wanting to push the AirPods for fear of falling out, but in the end, they never did. After the first 72 hours, I'd gotten used to that feeling, and now, months later, it doesn't bother me at all. Apple says that they've tested thousands of ear shapes, and they think this design is robust enough to fit most people. Most people is still no excuse for not having options for other people who really want to wear these, but can't. Apple is playing a numbers game here. The company is basically saying it thinks a number of people who won't be able to keep AirPods in their ears is small enough that they don't need to change the design. AirPods actually sound great, even better than EarPods. Apple claims the audio components are virtually the same between the two products, but there are noticeable differences in the output, especially in the low end. I actually smiled the first time I heard the bass drop while listening to my hip-hop playlist. AirPods reproduce music clearly for such tiny earbuds, even rivaling my Jaybird X2s. I am no audiophile, but I also know not to compare these to high-end over-the-ear headphones, as they are two completely different markets. Apple also deserves enormous credit for solving the two biggest problems with Bluetooth earbuds and Bluetooth headphones in general: pairing and providing a consistent connection. This is all thanks to the W1 chip that Apple introduced with AirPods and the other two Beats headphones that were announced in September. W1 makes the initial pairing process with AirPods a breeze. The moment you flip up the cap on the carrying case, a screen pops up on your iPhone asking you to connect. From that point, you never have to look at the Bluetooth menu again, because AirPods connect every time you take them out of the case. They're also visible and accessible in iOS's control center. But they are not just paired with your iPhone. If you have an iPad and/or Mac and signed in with the same Apple ID, you'll find them paired to those devices as well, just waiting to switch over when you want to. The other thing that W1 does really well is it solves a problem unique to wireless earbuds. It's hard to sync audio to two earbuds when they don't have a wire running between them. Every other wireless earbud company starts by sending the audio signal to one earbud over Bluetooth, and it's this first step that trips up most products. Bluetooth is awful at traveling through your body. This is why many wireless earbuds so far suffer from constant, irritating hiccups in the Bluetooth connection. I'm looking at you, Braggy Dash and Samsung X. In most pairs, after establishing that initial connection, the first earbud relays the signal to the other one, but playback on that first earbud doesn't start until the sync is achieved, which means you wind up with dealing with latency of about 30 to 50 milliseconds. That's fine for audio, but it means wireless earbuds often aren't good for video, as the audio and lips of the person are out of sync. Apple took a totally different approach with AirPods. Each AirPod is actually receiving its own Bluetooth channel independently at the same time, and it's the W1 chip that handles the syncing. The result is a very low latency and also a very reliable connection. This is an approach that every other wireless earbud company avoided, and yet Apple found a way to make it work very, very well. As far as Bluetooth connection, I was able to get 120 feet away with direct line of sight and not hear a single skip or notice static. Inside my house, I was able to get about 30 feet away and behind 3 walls before I heard any static. This is a far cry from my experience with the Braggy Dash, where I lost connectivity with the left wireless earbud while my phone was in my right pocket. Again, I'm looking at you, Samsung Icon X, as well. W1 is Apple at its best. It's a proprietary technology that solves real problems, helps open up new use cases, and pushes the industry forward. The trade-off is you just have to submit to some ecosystem lock-in. AirPods lose some of their magic if you use them on Android. Pairing and device switching involves the traditional drudge through Bluetooth menus, for example. The earbuds do have optical sensors that pause the music when you take them out, and this works on Android too. But the W1 chip is still so good that AirPods were one of the best performing pairs of wireless earbuds that I've tested on an Android device. Perhaps the thing I like best about AirPods though is the case. I've tested a lot of wireless earbuds so far, and my biggest takeaway is that they're only as good as the case they come with. You always need somewhere to stash the earbuds, and it helps that the case also charges them. The AirPods case is one of the best around. The earbuds magnetically lock to the point that you can't even shake them loose, and it offers an extra day or so of battery life. It's also small, meaning it fits comfortably in almost any pocket, and it's also white, so you won't lose track of it in a bag. The ability to constantly charge AirPods is comforting, but the battery life of the AirPods themselves is also fantastic. I got every bit of the 5 hours Apple promises, and that's not even considering the fact that you're almost never going to use these for 5 hours straight. When I did test them for as long as the battery life held out, a few times I got 6 to 6.5 hours battery life using them off and on and not consistently. This isn't thanks to the W1 chip powering down the AirPods when in my ears, but not in use. My typical usage would be a dozen calls, a lot of speech to text, a couple hours of streaming music, and a couple more hours of watching video. After a quick dip back in the case before using them again, it would be fully charged after only 15 minutes. There are a few things about AirPods that I wanted to like, but didn't, such as Siri. Apple's not the only company trying to bring AI and other smarts right to our ears, but AirPods are one of the first products to actually make it to the market. Accessing Siri is easy. Just double tap one of the AirPods and you summon the digital assistant like a genie. And AirPods do a decent job capturing your queries. That's part of the reason for the long stems in the first place, to keep the microphones as close to your mouth as possible. But Siri's inherent limitations, like its often unhelpful answers and inability to handle multiple follow-up questions, ruin the experience. Phone calls, at least, work just as well as you would hope, with some people thinking I was using the phone next to my ear and not the AirPods. For all their internal tech, I do wish there were more ways to interact with the AirPods. I've come to love having quick access to volume, play, pause, and track skipping on earbuds like Sky Blue or Jabra. You can assign the double tap to perform play, pause in the iPhone settings menu, and it's the default on Android. But the only way to adjust the volume or skip tracks when using AirPods is to ask, wait for it, Siri to do it for you. Pull out your phone or use an Apple Watch. It would be nice if in a future firmware update you can assign a different AirPod with different taps. Ideally for me, it would be nice to single tap on the right to volume up and double tap to skip a song or pause play. Then a single tap on the left AirPod for volume down and double tap to skip a song or pause play. Invoking Siri would be the same as on your iPhone by saying, "Hey Siri." Despite great battery life, wireless performance, and good sound, too many people are going to have issues with the fit. Whether it not fit them at all, or they can't reconcile with the paranoia of thinking they are going to fall out, but are perfectly fine in their ears. And at $69 a pop to replace a single lost unit, it's not a problem I'd want to deal with. It's also a problem I've never had with any other wireless earbuds I've tested, especially because those companies ship with an array of tips or rubber fit sleeves with their products. In the future, if Apple doesn't want to add those, at least make the AirPods out of a more grip-tight material to fit a few more people, and take away the fear of falling paranoia from those like myself. However, fit might not be the case for you. In fact, Apple's betting it won't be. So if you share Apple's wireless dream and EarPods fit you pretty well, there's a good chance you'll like AirPods too. Just make sure you try on a demo pair at an Apple store first. If you try them on and can headbang and bend forward at the waist without them falling out, chances are good that short of tripping violently, you're good to go. That's going to be it for my review. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and share this video as it really helps my channel grow. If you want to see more of my videos in the future, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you have any questions about the AirPods that I didn't cover or comments about the video, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. As always, YouTube, thank you very much for watching. Be excellent to each other, and I will catch you in the next video.